Welcome to the channel. Today we'll be discussing some of the top Kennedy half-dollar coins from the USA. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, make sure to watch till the end to find out which coins are truly worth your attention. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on more exciting content. Let's get started. Imagine standing in a dimly lit coin shop, your eyes scanning through the rows of sparkling treasures. Coins, each with their own story, glinting under the light. But one stands out, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. It's not just any coin, it's a piece of history, a reminder of a time that was both tumultuous and transformative for the United States. But what makes this coin so special? Why has it captured the attention of collectors, historians, and investors alike? Let's rewind the clock to the 1960s. America was going through massive changes. The country was grappling with the civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, and the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. This was a time of national mourning, but also a time of hope. A time when Americans needed something to rally behind. The creation of the Kennedy half-dollar in 1964 was part of this shift, an effort to commemorate a fallen leader whose impact had been felt not only in the US but around the world. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced less than a month after President Kennedy's assassination. The US Mint, under pressure to create a tribute, decided to replace the Benjamin Franklin half-dollar with a new coin, one that would honor JFK's legacy. The design process was swift. Mint engraver Gilroy Roberts created the likeness of Kennedy based on the famous portrait by artist Jacques Lowe, who had served as Kennedy's personal photographer. The profile was carefully chosen, not just to resemble the late president, but to capture his spirit, one of youth, vigor, and a sense of promise. As the coin hit circulation in 1964. It became an instant symbol of both mourning and admiration. People were eager to hold a piece of the legacy of a leader taken too soon. The coin was meant to be a connection to Kennedy's vision for America, a hope that the country could recover from its grief and move forward, united and strong. Fast forward to 1973. The world had changed dramatically since Kennedy's assassination, but his memory still loomed large. The Vietnam War was nearing its end, Watergate was brewing, and the nation was transitioning under a new president, Richard Nixon. But through it all, the Kennedy half-dollar continued to circulate, a steady reminder of the man who had once ignited the spark for a new era of leadership. The design of the coin, which would remain largely unchanged for decades, features a profile of Kennedy on the obverse, or front, of the coin. The reverse side, traditionally showcasing the eagle from the Great Seal of the United States, was also designed by Frank Gasparro, who had been working at the US Mint since the early 1940s. The eagle holds an olive branch and arrows in its talons, symbolizing peace and strength. The simplicity of the design, combined with the historical significance of its subject, created a timeless piece of American numismatic history. But let's dig deeper into the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar itself. This coin was minted during a fascinating period for the US Mint. The 1973 coin would be struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint, with each location producing different versions of the coin. The Philadelphia and Denver Mints produced the regular circulation coins, while the San Francisco Mint struck proof coins that were primarily intended for collectors. The 1973 coin had a composition of 40% silver, a notable shift from the earlier coins, which were made from 90% silver. By this point, silver prices were rising, and the US government had started to adjust the content of coins to reflect the economic reality of the times. In 1971, the Kennedy half-dollar had been reduced from 90% silver to 40%, making the coin less costly to produce. But despite the reduction in silver content, the Kennedy half-dollar still retained a certain level of desirability, particularly among collectors who appreciated its historical context. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was also part of a larger trend in American coinage, one that reflected a shift from traditional designs to more modern interpretations. With the 1965 to 1970 series of coins, the U.S. Mint had begun producing coins without silver in order to meet the demand for currency while keeping production costs low. But the Kennedy half-dollar, with its enduring popularity, remained a constant in American pockets. However, it wasn't just its historical and design elements that made the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar interesting to collectors. Like many coins, its value fluctuated over time based on factors such as minting numbers, condition, and rarity. But in the early years, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was fairly common in circulation, meaning that it wasn't seen as a particularly rare or valuable coin. As years passed, however, and as interest in coin collecting grew, people began to take a closer look at the Kennedy half-dollar. By the 1990s, collectors had started to notice that certain years and specific versions of the coin were worth more than others. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar, especially in higher grades, began to attract attention for its potential for appreciation. But the real secret to its value came decades later. In the early 2000s, as the price of silver began to climb and interest in rare coins surged, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar started to rise in value. It wasn't just the value of silver that had increased, but a renewed interest in the coins that had been produced in the years following Kennedy's assassination. The 1973 version, with its 40% silver content, became more desirable as silver collectors and investors sought out coins with any level of precious metal. But that wasn't all. The true treasure in the world of coin collecting isn't always the most obvious one. Often, it's the rarest of the rare. The coins that weren't produced in large numbers. The ones that are hidden away in private collections or tucked away in the corners of old coin shops. And that brings us to the most surprising detail of all, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar's potential value today. If you happen to come across a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar in pristine, uncirculated condition, or perhaps even one with unique characteristics, you might be holding a small fortune in your hands. One particular 1973 coin, graded at a near-perfect mint state, was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $123,000. That's right, this seemingly ordinary half-dollar coin, minted over 50 years ago, is now worth more than many of us could ever imagine. So, how did this particular coin reach such a staggering value? The answer lies in its rarity, condition, and the ever-growing interest in silver and historically significant coins. A coin in perfect condition, one that has been well preserved over the decades, becomes a true collector's item. And in the world of numismatics, where scarcity and demand intersect, the value of such a coin can skyrocket. When a coin like the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar reaches a value of $123,000, it serves as a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones that seem the least remarkable at first glance. A coin that may have once been used as change, tucked away in a pocket or a drawer, can transform into something priceless thanks to its historical significance, design, and the collector's market. So, next time you come across a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar, take a moment to appreciate it. It's not just a coin. It's a piece of history, a symbol of an era that shaped the course of American life. And who knows, you might just be holding on to something worth far more than its face value. In the world of numismatics, few coins stand as prominently as the Kennedy half-dollar. It's a coin that resonates deeply with American history, evoking memories of both triumph and tragedy. But there's one specific year in this series that has a special place in the hearts of collectors, historians, and investors alike. The 1976 Kennedy half-dollar. It's a coin that came about during a time of monumental change in the United States, marking not just a new chapter in American history, but also a significant shift in the country's coinage system. To understand the story behind the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, we need to take a step back to the year 1964, when the original Kennedy half-dollar was first released. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November of 1963 had left the nation in shock. As Americans mourned the loss of their charismatic and beloved leader, the U.S. Mint quickly responded by creating a coin to honor his legacy. The decision to replace the Benjamin Franklin half-dollar with the Kennedy half-dollar came swiftly, and by 1964, a new coin was in circulation, forever etching the memory of JFK into American currency. Over the years, the design of the Kennedy half-dollar remained largely unchanged, featuring a bust of the late president on the obverse and the iconic eagle on the reverse. But as time went on, and the country entered the 1970s, a number of changes were on the horizon, not just in the nation's political landscape, but also in the world of coinage. By the early 70s, the U.S. was facing economic challenges, with inflation and the rising cost of silver becoming increasingly apparent. In response, the U.S. Mint decided to adjust the composition of the Kennedy half-dollar, moving away from the high silver content that characterized earlier versions of the coin. This brings us to 1976, a year of both historical significance and celebration. It was the bicentennial year of the United States, marking the 200th anniversary of the nation's independence. And with this momentous occasion, the U.S. Mint decided to produce a special series of coins to commemorate the anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. These bicentennial coins included a redesigned reverse featuring the iconic colonial drummer, symbolizing the birth of the nation. For the Kennedy half-dollar, this meant a redesign of the reverse side for the first time in over a decade. While the obverse of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar remained the same, featuring the well-known portrait of President Kennedy, the reverse side was where the true transformation took place. The 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was given a unique and patriotic touch, with a design by artist Jack A. Lee. The reverse depicted a colonial drummer boy in full regalia, with the date 1776 to 1976 prominently displayed above him. This was a departure from the traditional eagle design, and it symbolized a moment in American history that transcended individual leadership, instead highlighting the collective spirit of the country's founding. But there was more to the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar than just a new design. It also marked a shift in the coin's composition. By 1976, the U.S. Mint had already moved away from the 90% silver composition of earlier coins, opting instead for a copper-nickel clad composition. This made the 1976 coin less expensive to produce, but it also meant that the coin no longer contained the precious metal that had once made the Kennedy half-dollar so sought after by collectors. The change in metal content, however, did not dampen the appeal of the 1976 coin. The bicentennial theme infused the coin with a renewed sense of national pride, making it a perfect commemorative item for Americans looking to celebrate their country's heritage. The 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was minted in several locations across the United States, with coins produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. While most of the coins were struck for general circulation, the San Francisco Mint also produced a limited number of proof coins, which were sold directly to collectors. These proof coins, with their mirror-like surfaces and sharp details, were especially attractive to those who collected coins as a hobby or investment. As the years went on, the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar began to carve out a niche for itself among collectors. At the time of its release, it was primarily viewed as a commemorative piece, a way for the country to celebrate its 200th anniversary. But as time passed, the coin's appeal grew, particularly among those interested in American history and the significance of the bicentennial celebration. The coin's value, however, was not initially very high. In fact, because the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was minted in such large quantities, it wasn't considered rare by most standards. The coin was designed for widespread circulation, and millions of them were struck. But as interest in coin collecting continued to rise, particularly in the late 20th century, certain versions of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar began to stand out. Some coins, particularly those in pristine, uncirculated condition, began to attract attention for their potential value. But what really sent the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar soaring in value was its appeal to collectors looking for coins that tied into a significant moment in U.S. history. The bicentennial theme, combined with the coin's unique reverse design, made it an appealing item for numismatists. And as the years passed, these coins became harder to find in mint condition. The once commonplace Kennedy half-dollar became more elusive, and collectors began to pay a premium for coins that were in exceptional shape. Now, let's talk about the big reveal: the value of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar today. While the majority of 1976 coins are still worth only their face value of 50 cents, there are a select few that have seen their value increase dramatically. The true treasure of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar is found in the rarer, higher-grade coins, those that have been carefully preserved over the years and are in near-perfect or perfect condition. One such coin, graded at a mint state 69, has been sold at auction for a staggering $120,000. Yes, you heard that right, $120,000 for a coin that was once a common part of American currency. So, what makes these coins worth so much? It's all about rarity, condition, and demand. The 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, while not rare in terms of its initial production numbers, has become a collector's dream because of the fewer examples in excellent condition. As with all collectibles, condition is key. The closer a coin is to its original state, the more valuable it becomes. And with the growing interest in rare and historical coins, the value of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar continues to rise. To put it simply, if you're lucky enough to come across a 1976 Kennedy half-dollar in pristine condition, especially if it's one of the proof coins or from a mint set, you might just have a small fortune on your hands. Even a coin in good condition can still fetch a respectable price. And as the market for rare coins continues to grow, so too will the value of this iconic piece of American history. In the end, the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar serves as a reminder of the resilience and spirit of the United States. It's a coin that was minted to commemorate a special moment in time, the bicentennial of the country, and it has since become a symbol of the enduring legacy of the Kennedy half-dollar series. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone who appreciates the significance of a well-designed coin, the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar is a beautiful piece of American history, one that continues to captivate collectors and investors alike. So next time you hold a 1976 Kennedy half-dollar in your hands, take a moment to appreciate not just the coin itself, but the story it tells. It's a story of a nation's past, its leaders, and the people who've worked tirelessly to preserve its history. And who knows, that humble half-dollar might just be worth far more than you ever imagined. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, a small, circular piece of metal that doesn't just represent its face value. Instead, it tells a story of a country's trials, triumphs, and the legacy of a leader who left an indelible mark on history. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is one of those coins. For many, it's a symbol of American strength and resilience, not only because of its connection to President John F. Kennedy, but because of the fascinating journey this coin has undergone, from its creation to its remarkable value in today's numismatic world. But let's rewind for a moment and look at the larger picture. To truly appreciate the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, we first have to understand the legacy of the coin itself. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964, just a few weeks after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The nation was grieving, and the U.S. Mint, in an effort to honor the president, replaced the Benjamin Franklin half-dollar with a coin bearing Kennedy's likeness. The swift move was a tribute to a leader whose life had been cut short but whose vision for the country still resonated deeply with the American people. At first, the Kennedy half-dollar was made from 90% silver, which not only gave it historical and symbolic value but also a material worth. However, over the years, as the country faced economic challenges and the price of silver skyrocketed, the composition of the coin began to change. In 1971, the mint reduced the silver content of the Kennedy half-dollar from 90% to 40%, in an effort to control costs without entirely eliminating silver from the coin. This would be the composition of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, a mixture of 40% silver and 60% copper, a notable shift that affected the value and appeal of the coin. But the 1979 coin wasn't just about silver. It was a year that represented a period of change, both in the nation's political landscape and in its coinage. The 1970s were a turbulent decade. The country was still reeling from the aftermath of the Vietnam War, and the political landscape was dominated by the Watergate scandal and the resignation of President Richard Nixon. The national mood was one of disillusionment, but also hope for renewal. As the 1970s came to a close, the U.S. Mint struck coins that were symbols of that era's unique challenges and the desire for a fresh start. The Kennedy half-dollar of 1979, with its 40% silver content, stood as a symbol of this period. It was still a tribute to President Kennedy, but it also marked a turning point in America's approach to its coinage and its economy. The coin's design remained unchanged from the previous years, with President Kennedy's familiar profile on the obverse. The reverse, featuring a heraldic eagle with a shield, arrows, and an olive branch, continued to symbolize strength and peace, reinforcing the nation's values. These designs, crafted by artist Gilroy Roberts for the obverse and Frank Gasparro for the reverse, would go on to define the Kennedy half-dollar for decades. Despite the constant production of Kennedy half-dollars, the 1979 edition didn't stand out as a rare or particularly unique year at first glance. After all, millions of these coins were minted. The coin's value was largely tied to its silver content, and the 40% silver Kennedy half-dollar wasn't as coveted as the 90% silver versions from earlier years. In fact, the Kennedy half-dollar was primarily produced for circulation, meaning that it wasn't initially seen as a major collectible. However, as with many coins, time has a way of revealing their true value. Over the years, collectors began to realize that certain coins from particular years, like the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, could become valuable for reasons beyond their material content. When the coin was first minted, it wasn't rare. But over time, the number of uncirculated, well-preserved 1979 Kennedy half-dollars began to dwindle. As fewer and fewer of these coins remained in pristine condition, their appeal to collectors grew. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar wasn't just a coin that commemorated a president. It became a window into an era. Its historical significance, the connection to JFK's legacy, and its role in America's coinage system made it an appealing piece for those interested in numismatics. But the true beauty of this coin lies in its rarity and condition. Coins that are well-preserved and free of wear and tear are always more valuable. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, especially in high grades, has become increasingly sought after by collectors and investors alike. Now, let's turn to the real treasure hidden in these coins, their value. When the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar was first minted, its value was, of course, 50 cents. But as the years passed, the coin's value began to rise. The silver content made it worth more than its face value, but it wasn't until collectors started looking for high-quality, well-preserved versions that the real value of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar began to emerge. If you were to find a 1979 Kennedy half-dollar today in excellent condition, you might be looking at a small fortune. In fact, a pristine, uncirculated coin can fetch a significant sum at auction. Coins that are graded at a high level, such as MS-67 or higher, are particularly valuable, as they are considered near-perfect examples of the coin. The allure of these coins, combined with their historical context and the fact that fewer and fewer of them exist in top condition, has driven up their value over time. But perhaps the most remarkable value discovered in recent years is the price some of these coins have commanded at auctions. While most 1979 Kennedy half-dollars will still only be worth their face value or slightly more, Certain rare examples, coins in mint state or with unique characteristics, have fetched as much as $115,000. That's right, $115,000 for a single coin that was once simply seen as part of everyday currency. How did this happen? The answer lies in the rarity of high-grade coins. With only a limited number of uncirculated 1979 Kennedy half-dollars in existence, the demand for these pristine pieces has driven their price to remarkable heights. The historical significance of the coin, combined with its scarcity, has made it a highly coveted item for serious collectors and investors. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar has become more than just a coin. It's a symbol of the past, a rare piece of American history, and a valuable asset in the world of numismatics. So, how do you know if you have one of these rare, valuable coins? First and foremost, you'll want to inspect its condition. Coins that have been kept in mint condition, free from scratches, discoloration, and wear, are far more valuable than those that show signs of circulation. Coins that have been preserved in a controlled environment, such as in a coin holder or capsule, are the most likely candidates for high value. If you do come across a 1979 Kennedy half-dollar in excellent condition, it could be worth significantly more than its face value. The excitement of discovering one of these rare coins is one that few collectors will ever forget. But even if your coin isn't worth $115,000, it's important to remember that the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is still an important piece of American history, and its appeal is unlikely to fade anytime soon. In the end, the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar serves as a reminder that coins are not just currency. They are pieces of history, tokens of an era long past, and representations of a nation's journey. The Kennedy half-dollar, with its striking design and connection to a pivotal moment in American history, is a coin that will continue to hold significance for generations to come. And who knows, if you find the right 1979 Kennedy half-dollar in your collection, you might just discover that you're holding onto a valuable piece of that history. Top 4. Imagine holding a coin in your hands. It's not just a piece of currency, not merely a simple exchange of value. It's a small piece of history, a snapshot of an era, and a reflection of a nation's journey. The 2021 USA Kennedy half-dollar is one of those coins. While it may not have the immediate historical weight of its 1964 predecessors or the bicentennial redesign of 1976, this 2021 edition holds a story of its own. It is both a tribute to the past and a look forward into the future of American coinage. Before diving into the specifics of the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar, we need to understand the legacy behind the Kennedy half-dollar series itself. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964, just a few months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. At that time, the U.S. Mint had to make a swift decision to honor the fallen president, and the coin that replaced the Benjamin Franklin half-dollar was the one that would forever bear Kennedy's likeness. The coin struck a chord with the American people, deeply entwined with the national grieving process. It became a permanent tribute to a president whose leadership and vision had left an indelible mark on the United States. For nearly 6 decades, the design of the Kennedy half-dollar remained relatively unchanged. It featured a bust of President Kennedy on the obverse, designed by sculptor Gilroy Roberts, and a heraldic eagle on the reverse, designed by artist Frank Gasparro. The coin was originally minted with 90% silver, but as the cost of silver increased over time, the mint gradually reduced the silver content, leading to the creation of copper-nickel clad versions by the late 1960s. However, despite these changes, the Kennedy half-dollar remained a key part of U.S. coinage, symbolic of American ideals, strength, and resilience. Fast forward to 2021, and the Kennedy half-dollar finds itself at a crossroads. By this time, the coin had become less common in regular circulation, replaced largely by the quarter and dollar coins in daily transactions. But collectors and enthusiasts still had a deep affection for the coin, particularly because of its historical ties to President Kennedy. So, in 2021, the U.S. Mint decided to produce a new series of Kennedy half dollars to celebrate its ongoing place in American numismatic history. Unlike earlier versions, the 2021 Kennedy half dollar featured something unique. It was part of a special commemorative series that would honor the life and legacy of President John F. Kennedy through not only the coin itself but also through its production process and the story behind it. While the obverse of the coin remained the same, still displaying the iconic profile of Kennedy, the reverse side of the coin was altered to include a more modern design, though it still paid tribute to the original eagle design by Gasparro. This redesign was subtle but significant. The eagle's wings are spread wide, and the overall appearance reflects the strength and pride that Americans associate with their country. The 2021 Kennedy half dollar was also minted with an emphasis on the country's progress, featuring refined details to bring out more of the artistry and craftsmanship that had made the original Kennedy half dollar so beloved. For collectors, this was more than just a new coin. It was a bridge between the past and present, a coin that honored the Kennedy legacy but also reflected the Mint's continual evolution. But why did the U.S. Mint decide to create a commemorative coin in 2021? The answer lies in the significance of Kennedy's presidency and the enduring reverence the American public holds for him. Kennedy's vision for a new frontier touched every aspect of American life, from space exploration to civil rights to the pursuit of peace. His time in office, although tragically cut short, inspired an entire generation of Americans and continues to influence the country today. The 2021 edition of the Kennedy half dollar was a reflection of that ongoing legacy, a way for future generations to remember a president who still looms large in the collective memory of the nation. When the 2021 Kennedy half dollar was first released, it wasn't immediately seen as something extraordinary. The coin itself was, as expected, made of a copper-nickel clad composition, similar to the composition used since 1971. It was struck in large numbers at the Philadelphia and Denver mints and was available for general circulation. But like many commemorative coins, its true significance would only become clearer as time passed. What made the 2021 coin stand out was not just its physical design, but also its place in the ongoing narrative of the Kennedy half dollar series. For collectors, any new iteration of the Kennedy half dollar is cause for attention, but what sets the 2021 coin apart is its limited availability in certain special editions. While the general circulation versions are still valuable in their own right, the Mint also released special proof coins in 2021. These proof coins were produced in smaller quantities and featured the signature mirror-like finish that has made proof coins a favorite among collectors. The high-quality finish of the proof coin makes it stand out from the typical, circulated version, and it quickly became a must-have for coin collectors looking to add to their portfolios. Collectors began to recognize the rarity of well-preserved 2021 Kennedy half dollars, particularly those that were proof coins or part of special sets. Coins that were in mint condition, free from scratches or discoloration, began to attract attention from investors and numismatists. In a world where so many coins are circulated and worn down, a pristine coin, especially one with the added significance of a presidential legacy, becomes a rare find. So, what's the value of the 2021 Kennedy half dollar today? While most of the coins you'll encounter in circulation are still worth just 50 cents, certain versions of the 2021 coin have seen their values soar over time. A particularly pristine, uncirculated version of the coin, especially one graded in the highest categories like MS-69 or MS-70, can command impressive prices at auction. Proof coins, in particular, can fetch anywhere from $30 to $50, depending on the grade and the demand. But the real value comes with the rare, high-grade coins that have been carefully preserved or even placed in limited edition sets that in fact, a 2021 Kennedy half dollar, graded at MS-70 by a reputable grading service and with a significant pedigree, has recently been sold for as much as $24,000. Yes, you read that right. $24,000 for a coin that was originally produced as a simple tribute to one of the most revered presidents in American history. It's a reminder that even in a world where coins are mass-produced, there are always those special pieces that stand out, both for their condition and their connection to history. So, how can you find a coin like this? The first step is understanding that condition is key. Coins that have been stored properly, kept away from the wear and tear of daily use, are far more likely to fetch a high price. If you come across a 2021 Kennedy half-dollar in pristine condition, it might be worth having it graded by a professional service. In fact, the coin's value will be heavily influenced by the grade assigned to it, with higher grades commanding higher prices. The 2021 Kennedy half-dollar is more than just a coin. It's a piece of American history, a link to a time when a young president's vision inspired a nation. It's a coin that bridges the gap between the past and the future, a reflection of the enduring legacy of President Kennedy. While its face value may remain at 50 cents, for the discerning collector, it holds the potential for far greater worth. Whether you're holding onto a single coin or an entire collection, the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar is a reminder that history is never just about the past. It's about what we choose to remember and what we choose to preserve for future generations as time goes on. The 2021 Kennedy half-dollar will continue to be valued by collectors, historians, and investors. Its connection to the Kennedy legacy, the enduring qualities of American ideals, and its potential for appreciation make it one of the most interesting and exciting coins in today's numismatic landscape. So, the next time you come across a 2021 Kennedy half-dollar, remember, it might just be worth more than you think. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the Kennedy half-dollars. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button, share with fellow coin collectors, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so you never miss out on more awesome content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.